Good afternoon, guys. This is Nikki, also known as Faces Trader, and you're watching the Global Chart Attack for the market update this December 7, 2020. Let us begin. Okay, first things first, let's talk about the biggest news that I feel is uh, on all people's minds. It's the IPO week of Airbnb. It's the IPO week of a lot of companies. So let's begin. Let's go to my Faces Trader Twitter account. I shared a few profile reads, okay, a few news on my profile. So, sorry about that. Too many Kim Sean Ho's, right? Okay, this week's IPO calendar. So this Wednesday, you've got C3 AI, that is an enterprise AI software. You've got DoorDash this Wednesday. You've got Pubmatic, which is a programmatic ad platform. Thursday, you've got Airbnb. Thursday, you also got HYFM, a controlled environment of agricultural supplies. You've got CERT, biosimulation software. Personally, I don't know all of these names. However, I would think that people would be interested to know more about these companies. Some of them I've studied, some of them I haven't. There's also some interesting companies that I think should be taken note of. So this is a good share. So I'm gonna read some of it for you. Brad Freeman, Joey Solitro, and a lot of people on Twitter have been sharing this new recent IPO in the market. The company ticker symbol is OZON. OZON is actually a company striving to be the Russian Amazon. So indeed, there's a lot of companies that are interesting. We could actually take a look at that name. Actually, I am studying that Russian OZON. Let's take a look at a few things about the company. A 6-minute read, November 19, 2020. During the COVID-19, there is a shot in the arm from Russia's e-commerce. The coronavirus has helped fuel a surge in online shopping in Russia, putting even the remote icy expanse of Chukotka on the e-commerce map. The windswept region in Russia's far east, where winter temperatures fall below 50 degrees Celsius, have started to boom for online retailers since the pandemic started keeping consumers at home. It's a trend playing out, spurring explosive growth for online retailers. Typically, people cannot make speedy deliveries in the world's largest country, where roads have become clogged with ice and snow for months, and they are investing heavily in logistics center and delivery points. With foreign players largely absent, Russian companies are cashing in as online shopping surges. An English language teacher from the city of Samara who now buys clothes, books, makeup, and sometimes groceries online said that OZON is actually very convenient. She also uses Russian company Wildberries, which she says delivers the collection points in 2 days, even though it is more than 860 kilometers from its Moscow headquarters. She uses, there are many pickup points in my area. It takes me 5 minutes to walk. The e-commerce boom is a welcome development for economies who say that Russia is currently reliant on oil and gas revenues, especially as retail sales, a gauge of consumer demand, plunged as lockdown measures kept people at home at the start of pandemic, which has killed more than 34,000 people in Russia. Let's see the fragmentation in Russia. E-commerce penetration is now 7% of total retail sales in 2019, up to about 11% this 2020, although very small against USA's penetration of about 19%, according to Euromonitor. The Russian market is very fragmented. While Berries leads with 15%, Ozon has just filed an offering in the United States is 7%. So while Berries is still privately owned. Behind them also comes AliExpress Russia. This is a joint venture between Alibaba and Russian partners. Other rivals include Russian electronics firm M-Video, Sbermarket, which is a joint venture between Russia's largest bank, Sberbank, and internet group Mail.ru, and internet company Yandex. Amazon has not entered Russia, where the country's size has 11 time zones, and its competitive IT market poses challenges. To cover at least 2 major cities in Russia, company will need to invest heavily, not just in delivery, but also in warehousing to have enough goods to maintain a current quality level. Wildberries currently attracts over 12 million new customers in its website in the first 9 months of 2020, enjoying spectacular growth. Orders in April to October rose 490% in Chukotka, where winters bring 50 below degrees Celsius. So Wildberries saw orders soared by 385%. over 34 million new customers, 13 warehouses, delivering, reducing delivery times. So take a look at the long distance relationship in Russia. So that is a difficulty on the delivery firms based in Moscow. Very, very huge distance areas, 3,000 kilometers, 6,000, very, very far points. So Ozon is actually spending $300 million in logistics improvement and has just recently opened in Rostov-on-Don, close to Ukraine, for same-day delivery. Ozone recorded an 84% in new active buyers year-on-year in April and May, accounting for over 55% of its gross merchandise value. As in other countries, online grocery orders have soared. Yandex last year launched Yandex Lavka, a grocery delivery in just 15 minutes, as well as a successful food delivery service. They've got small warehouses across Moscow, using couriers on bikes, electric bicycles, or motorbikes, risen 1 million from just 50,000 orders a year ago, or about 20 times more in a year. So your online grocer Ecommerce, which reports a 65% increase in sales year-on-year over the third quarter, says demand for deliveries has been soaring. So a lot of interesting IPOs coming out. I'm actually trying to study this as well. OZON. Looks like we actually have to put it on our watch list or buy list. So e-commerce success story, OZON, may be a yes to the people looking for an Amazon-related play. There's a lot of news that actually in the past, say, last couple of years ago, Russian online retailer actually received acquisition offers from Amazon and SoftBank. It's one of a company that I think is worth to look at. And this IPO is actually racing in the NASDAQ, a very strong IPO in NASDAQ, already up around $50 right now from its listing price of $30. So close to 60% away from the IPO, and think that we are seeing quite a winner here. What else that I should be aware of? Okay, there's a lot of IPOs indeed. So C3AI is one of them. I haven't really read much onto it, but there are quite a lot of new IPOs and new SPACs that are truly interesting in my view. Okay, so let's see your questions. Frank is saying, what if I don't have a BDO dollar account? Any other options to transfer funds from BDO to IBKR? I can't open a BDO dollar account as I'm outside Philippines. My funds are stuck in BDO right now. Frank, you can just message me. I could just receive your pesos in BDO and I could just fund your IBKR straight within a day. You can actually message me online. So my number, you can just WhatsApp me or send me an email. My email is awesome10xofficial@gmail.com. I'm able to fund people as long as they pay me in Philippine pesos. And I'll be willing to send you my details, my dollar account, and so forth. So you can message me. My mobile is 0917-804-6366. Message me through Viber or through WhatsApp or through email. All of that is accessible. Okay, what else are the questions? No questions. Actually, let me just go through some charts then. Okay, there's a lot of great companies, so I will just probably share a few things that I believe are interesting in my point of view. The IPO market, the SPACs market, yes. But more importantly, I think this is also something interesting. Most of you should be aware that, of course, Salesforce and Slack are now a love team. Salesforce and Slack are merging, and that news, in my view, should send you an analysis in your portfolio. Do you like the Slack and the Salesforce deal? Okay. So I think this one is a marriage that is good. So why Slack and Salesforce execs think that they are better together? That acquisition happened 2 days ago. Is it a costly and complex merger? Let's read up. When Salesforce bought Slack earlier this week for $28 billion, it was in some ways the end of a startup fairy tale. Slack was a living embodiment of the Silicon Valley startup success fantasy, started as a pivot from a game company of all things. Of course, that was from Glitch. And it started to raise money from a game company like $1.4 billion. It went from 0 to 7 billion valuation to an IPO, checking off every box on the startup founder's wish list. Then, quite suddenly this week, Slack was now part of Salesforce, plucked away from the market from an enormous amount of money. While we might never know the backroom maneuvering that went on to make this deal a reality, we now know that Slack CEO will probably be the president of Salesforce going forward. And this is something that I think is a good thing. I actually talked to Brett, the current COO, in the early days of the pandemic to see if they wanted to sell us Quip because I thought it would be good for us. I didn't really know what their plans for it was. He said he'd get back to me and then got back to me 6 months later and so forth. Big money, big expectations. Taylor says the Slack deal was worth the money because it really allows this company to bring together all the pieces of their platform, one that has expanded over the years from pure CRM to include marketing, customer service, data visualization, workflows, and more. Guys, Slack is well known as a work productivity app, work missing communication layer. So indeed, I think this marriage is a match made in heaven, like most of the people who are reading into the Slack and Salesforce acquisition terms. Of course, everyone has an opinion about this, but there is a natural connection from their company to be molded together. What machines do behind the scenes, record engagements, how Slack helps bridge the gap between humans and machines. And I agree with this. So they're competing, of course, with Microsoft, which is an enterprise software behemoth. Microsoft is currently a company that could be one of the unlikely reasons, or not unlikely, the likely reason for this joining of forces. Microsoft and Teams is a product that has always been a problem or an existential threat for Slack. And so, hyperbole aside, this tension and competition between two ERP companies is now going to have a historical move in the next couple of decades. So, yeah, Slack will be independent despite this. It says that Slack's current customers are watching closely to see how they'd handle this acquisition. Company says that the companies have maintained their brand identity and independence. So there's a layer of independence like that, but they're better together. So how do you feel about the deal? Awesome 10X feels that it's good. And this is something that we are actually taking a look at. So today, it's December 7, 2020. Slack is now trading, I think Slack will be delisted for that 27.7 billion market cap. So all of your Slack shares will be taken out, and then your work will be out, and then CRM will remain in place. Okay, so your CRM right now is trading at $225. Market cap of Salesforce right now is about, let me see, it's about 200 billion market cap. So I think that this acquisition is good. You could see that the company is falling from 280 to 225. Not a lot of people are understanding if this acquisition is good or not. Yeah, so this one is moving from as low as 120 to 280. There was a huge gap up move from 200 to 280 here after the earnings call, and a drop here on the acquisition. I'd say this is a low downside entry. CRM from about 225 all the way to 200 can be given a watch or a buy. What else can you say? OZON is a new IPO on the block, but this is a secular trend, e-commerce. Seeing growth on the numbers, I do think that this one will get eaten up by the market quite convincingly. So about $20, and it's so about 30, it's now 48. Do think that there is enough momentum to keep this running. Any drops would be bought for your OZON. So about 48 all the way to $40 looks like an entry point for those who don't have OZON. Let me see questions. Hi, Dito heading. Well, this is a global market update, so go check out the Philippine market update for questions ready, Dito. Any comments on GIX SPAC? What is your take on Ozon as the Amazon of Russia? I will be discussing this on the Inner Circle class ideas, but looks good on the surface. Any comment on GIX SPAC? I haven't read what GIX SPAC is, so no commentaries yet. What is this? What's GIX? What does GIX do? After doing some research, I do not have conviction on this. What does this do? A SPAC? I don't know. There's just too many SPACs. I can't do much if I didn't study it. So no idea. Have no idea. So I mean, if I don't have any idea, just say no idea. All right, guys. So looks like there's not a lot of questions today. So market is continuing to be very strong. We do have a lot of winners right now, triple digit gains. I'd say that those who followed all of first pack picks are holding something like 100 to 200% wins from your GMHI, which is now laser. TRNE is hot right now. Desktop metal went from $10 to $19. A lot of winners, really. Even your IPO plays. So I think that your IPOs this week will really have a lot of interest. So you might want to put your focus on the IPOs this week. So those are, I think, the more interesting parts to put some of your fresh cash into. Thank you very much. And please don't forget to like the video, subscribe and share, and go to Awesome 10X for more in-depth Awesome 10X opportunities. Thank you very much. Bye.